around like a maniac, so I don't have time to do this in any pretty place like my house. And I don't have a studio, which I may change up, and maybe I'll change one of the rooms in my basement into some kind of live studio. Let's see how it goes. Oh, you know what? Let's see. I don't seem to have anyone logged on. Give me a second, guys. I wish I could put some kind of nice background, but no, we're in my car. Let's see. How is the sound? Hello, William Young. YouTube, the best tube. All right, let's see. Pin message. I just want to make sure. Add as a moderator. Channel activity. Chat filter. All messages. Okay. Since the tariff talks on Canada and Mexico, you haven't heard much of the war in Ukraine. Yeah, exactly, because that's not on the theater right now. But what's going on in Ukraine is just, it seems to be more of the same. Ukraine still hasn't been kicked out of Russia. Russia still hasn't been kicked out of Ukraine. It's a ridiculous stalemate. Yeah, YouTube is better. Thanks. Oh, thank you very much for liking the information. Hello, Carl Heinz. How you doing? Ukraine war is okay because Biden did a decent shipment prior. Also, Trump was embarrassed last time. What do you mean Trump was embarrassed, William Young? Inner AI, hello. Asked on TikTok, thank you. Do I think we're moving towards an authoritarian regime? Yeah, I think we're closer to that than we've been, I don't know, maybe since the Great Depression. Uche Orso, good to see you. Hello. Oh, okay, good to know. You're Mr. 331. When Trump called Putin to ask for non-escalation, Putin released all of Melania's nudes on Russian state media. Holy cow, I didn't even know about that. All right, but that doesn't mean anything. There's nothing wrong Trump can do with his base. So there were already Russian nudes. There are already nudes of Melania all over the internet before. Third party politics. The American people are nowhere near as disciplined to set up a third party. You think Trump wants people to forget he said he'd end it in a day? Oh, of course. Well, no, if Trump tells his people to forget, they'll forget. Or if Trump says he never said it, his people will believe it. How did I miss that? It was crazy Western media. William Young, because I have been focusing on the tariffs. I've been focusing on a lot of economics. I go over a lot of, just trade stuff. I'm also looking at my own portfolios. I also have 3 kids. So I don't read all of the news outlets. I care more about macro stuff. People are not educated enough in civics to start new parties, nor are they conscious. Yeah, I just, when I realized that Trump was likely to win the election, I kind of had a huge wake up. It's not even, it's like, okay, there's going to be a certain population that are just dumb enough to think that Trump can do no wrong. Fine. But what I didn't get was that there are people who don't like Trump, but they're still so stupid that they think their ideals are more important than winning crucial battles, like keeping people like Trump out of the White House. And once I realized, wow, there's so many idiots on the left who go against their own interests, just like the idiots on the right go against their own interests for voting for Trump, I lost a lot of faith. I don't think, no, there's no way. The young people don't have anywhere near enough discipline or constitution to set up a third party. Tucker Carlson is, in my opinion, he is on, I think he's low-life scum because personally, he understands everything that he's doing is actually wrong, but he's doing what he's doing for the clicks and the paycheck. You're big in the Ukraine war stuff, so you need to remember most people care less. You just know. Yeah, no, I didn't see that part. He criticized the bombing of Yugoslavia. Yeah. Yeah, you lost 90% of the pride for your country. Same here. William Young, I lost a lot of pride in my people. What's my take on Andrew Yang's Forward Party? Not going to happen. Thank you, Inner AI. The proletariat is busy throwing knives at each other. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why you don't have to worry about the proletariat, because they're just so stupid with their own, identity politics that they're never going to be a threat. Yeah, cash seems to be doing quite well. I mean, I did not expect these tariffs to be handled so quickly. So I sold half of my crypto portfolio. And at first I was like, oh, great, because I sold half and it dropped like 25-30%. And I was like, wonderful. And then I wake up the next day and it's up 40%. So I actually lost some of my position. Yeah, I don't trust, exactly, Safwayne. I don't trust Tucker Carlson. Skitty. Bow tied entitled POS, darn right. You mourned the idea of USA heart. Yeah. Yeah, William Young. I absolutely feel that. Most don't care about politics, nor the rest of the world. Well, Americans we're raised to be insular. You know what I mean? Like, I am very lucky. Like, I think, I'm a little smart, but also I was raised by a man like my dad, who's, he's he's an immigrant. He traveled a lot of the world, and he grew up in a communist regime. So he really wanted to make sure that I could think critically. He really helped guide me with that, and he also made sure that I had a clear picture of the world. And he made sure, like, he started pushing these things on me when I was like 9, so I think that's one of the reasons why I know as much as I do, because I think I had a lot of inspiration and guidance from him. You were hoping, but you didn't see tariffs being... Yeah, same here, William Young. We are indoctrinated. Yeah. You're the exception, seeing how America... Yeah, you are, William. Can I explain what is a liberal and far right in the USA? What does it mean? Well, politically liberal just means you're left leaning. So you tend to go more towards socialist ideas, more lax on abortion. You believe that certain moral concerns are on an individual basis, like, abortion or access to drugs and stuff like that. And then the right is more, capitalist. Okay, favoring the wealthy, make sure that the wealthy get more money, that they keep more money, low taxes for the very wealthy, but also more, their morals are based on the foundations of Christianity. And I mean, there are some benefits to that, but taking away a woman's choice over what she gets to do with her own body, that's a far right thing. Thinking a man should have a say into what a woman could do with her own body, that's a very far right thing. So that's like my little synopsis between the left and the right, or the liberals and the right. What about centrist politicians? Yeah, let's go. What about centrist? Yeah, the thing is, I'm a fan of centrist politicians, but they get no media coverage because they're boring. We have 50 states, William Young. Let's see. We have 50 states, so most have no reason to leave, though I get that fully too. You mean for like secession? Well, yeah, because the federal government gives them a lot of money to stay in. I mean, that's not why they do it, but it's a nice incentive. Oh, Karl Heinz. I don't give away details like that, but he was in a former communist country. That's as far as I go, in Eastern Europe. Conservative equals conserve the status quo. Well, the thing is, though, William Young, this is not the status quo. The conservatives are trying to upend the status quo. They're really trying to dismantle a lot of what's been keeping this country stable over the past 40 years. You're sad today, Safwayne, because the Prime Minister of Belgium is in the far right. Yeah, look, the whole world is shifting to the right. And I think the acquiescence of social media platforms to the Conservative Party that's kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. What do I think about that? If you're a man, you have to pay for your child even if you didn't want him. Well, Dave Chappelle said something pretty clever. Okay, it's a woman's choice as to what she could do with her own body. Okay, great. If you decide to keep the child and the man doesn't want it, then he shouldn't have to pay. That's it. You were talking about the reason Americans haven't gone abroad is there's so much... Oh, yes. Fair enough. But I think you get a perspective on what the world is when you're out of this country. Like, really, if you leave this country and you're not in a resort, you really do get a broadened perspective. The group is not conservative. Yeah, I know what you mean. They're not true conservatives, William Young. The world was left during COVID really hurt too much. I mean, the world's been leftward for a while, for like maybe, I don't know, since the 90s. In Germany, it seems dangerous. Many expect that the 30s are repeating. Yeah, that's that I feel like I'm seeing too. Globally, incumbents are getting toasted. That's right. I don't know, William Young. Well, Elon Musk has shown how much power that social media has with the re-election of a convicted felon in the United States. You know? Oh, the message was retracted. How come, alcoholic? The young, oh, the AFD is gaining momentum. Yeah, sad but true. How is it possible that the world is leaning more right? It's like we're going backwards in life. Yeah. It's. I think in Europe it's poor integration. I think the European culture is very isolationist, and I say this as someone who's traveled to a lot of countries in Europe. You know, there's this strong sense of national pride, like we are this way and you are not. And it's not just Europe. I mean, Japan is that way, China is that way. Most of the world, sadly, is that way. America is one of the most liberal countries when it comes to integration. And okay, the thing is, Europe killed off so much of their young population in World War I and World War II. And then they were so stupid as to not try to replenish their population that they began relying on immigrants just to like keep their economy afloat and to keep their towns full. And they did that, but they were nowhere near as ahead or developed as the Americans when it came to, you know, bringing other cultures into your own. And we're seeing the consequences of that. And the right is leaning far right because I think there's a lot of the cult of personality of Trump, but there's also, you know, the average white American worker, I think, has felt very disenfranchised for the past 30, 40 years. They see all this progress on the media for everyone else except them, and they do feel like they've been kicked to the curb. And then when Trump speaks up for them, they kind of appreciated it. And I think that's something the Democrats lost. You know, culturally, I feel like especially like a straight white guy, we've lost almost every shred of street credit to everyone else because I guess we're kind of looked upon as the number one bad guy. So, all right, there's a lot of us, and those guys, you know, like I kind of I'm like, okay, I'll take one for the team. You know, like some fools don't want to hear my opinion, whatever. I'm still gonna do what I'm gonna do. But I think a lot of guys don't respond well to that, and that's not a color thing. That's just it's a weak-minded thing. And well, how do you get back at all that? By having what's happening now. Do I think the USA is the most powerful country because they have a lot of allies? That's one of the things. But I mean, if we wanted to, we could flatten the entire world with our armed forces. You know, it wouldn't be easy, but we could do it. But we don't have to do that if we have a lot of allies, which means we don't have to exhibit as much effort in getting certain military operations done. We are currently, something big is happening. It's the start of some huge. Okay. Elon didn't buy Twitter. He bought the information sphere and the propaganda engine 100%. Which also, you know, it's a silly question, but how do Canadians feel about Trump wanting... Oh, of course, Canadians are defiant. They're ticked. And they have every right to be. Inserts diatribe about the rise of nationhood during Napoleon and it being new. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, they're radicalizing in Germany, like you said, Carl. I just want to check out these questions. So William Young says that the USA's simultaneous reliance and vilification of immigration is frightening for long-term population dynamics to me. It's true, because it's like we're letting immigrants come and then we're crapping on them, even though they're the ones like supporting a lot of the bases of our economy. Oh, William Young, you're right. At this point, the people are okay with Trump hurting other people for vengeance versus helping them. It's true. So all Trump has to do is punish a small fraction of people, and that's better than social programs that can actually help. Like that's more satisfying. Isn't that sad? In Germany, many terrorist attacks happen. You're even scared to go to the Christmas market. You're right, Carl. Are you aware that Mexico already had 15,000 troops on the border? Trump. Hey, Andrew. Under Biden, 10 to 15,000 troops were sent. But under this direct action, Claudia Sheinbaum has assigned 10,000 more troops to the border. But the thing is, I think it's all show. They don't even have to be troops. They could just be guys dressed up in troop gear. And then all they have to do is all that has to be done is they just film these guys along the border and say, look, we gave in. Or like, look, we put more troops on the border and we're going to police all these things. And they really don't have to do anything. For all we know, the Mexican troops that are put there are just going to be there for like a couple days and then they'll go. This was all a show. This was all. And I do think Mexico caved in. They caved into the theater. When you're truly an ally, you have double the street cred, though. Don't get me wrong, William Young. In certain circles, I do have a lot of the street cred, but there's a lot of angry people. Just like there's a lot of angry people on the right, there's a lot of angry people on the left. And if you look a certain way, they're just not going to, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, they just want to hate you. You low-key support Canada over USA. Yeah, same here. Same here, because the US is being a bully. Crazy thing is, there were people who accused me of being a mega guy because I said that Mexico caved in my post yesterday. William Young says he can lose 1% he never had and gain much more by punching down. That's exactly right. Yes, that's exactly right. Trump attacks a few minorities, but makes his base, which is like, I guess, 40% or 45, well, more than 51% of the potential voting population, it's a win. So, Carl, you think Trump doesn't get the long-term effects many countries will be scared to trade with the US? No. Trump doesn't care because it'll be beyond his time. Like he'll make money off it. His children will make money off it. His friends will make money off it. William Young, you don't think that Canada and Mexico will do jack more than they had planned, honestly? Yeah, exactly. It's just theater. It's just theatrics. And it's just a shame that they're playing into it. They didn't really, let's see, they didn't realize the full thing is why they caved to the theater. Yes, and to make them look good, to prevent so many hurting, they were the adults. If that was the case, they should have done it sooner. They should have done it a week ago. They should have done it 2 weeks ago and not let it escalate to right before the tariffs were going to go into effect. Yeah, it's true, alcohol. Well, just like there have been some things like that I've praised that Trump did. Like when Trump asked the North Carolina folks, which insurance companies denied their claim. And I like that. I was like, great. Oh my gosh. Let these people say which insurance companies did it on live TV. That's wonderful. And people actually got mad and unfollowed me. Karl Heinz, in Germany, the far right is throwing tickets and migrant males to go back to their country of origin. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Do I think Trump is going to allow it to not escalate for maximum press? Yeah, that's why he did it. That is why he did it. That's right. Well, I said in my post, and it got a lot of views 2 days ago, that Trump is creating an economic emergency to get more quantitative easing. And at the very end, I said, even if that doesn't happen, with quantitative easing, he can create a situation and then come out the hero. And that's exactly what happened. Do I think Trump will pull out of NATO? No, I don't. But again, who knows? I could be wrong because I was wrong about the tariffs. It just doesn't make economic sense to pull out of NATO. It makes economic sense to threaten to pull out of NATO because it gets other countries to up their spending on GDP. All right, let's see. If Canada and Mexico has agreed, they would still have gone along to avoid the stupidity. Well, sure, but they should have done it sooner instead of let it build up to this to what happened yesterday. Canada is still going to boycott red state goods if the tariffs do go through. Is Trump stupid? Trump is stupid. Yeah, but in ways he's stupid, but he's also kind of smart like a snake. Let's see, Carl. One point where you can give Trump credit is he's right about NATO countries that don't spend, yes, 2% of their GDP. Canada is one of those countries, and I haven't heard Trump address that Canada only spends like 1.3% of their GDP on defense. Trump is book stupid, but he's manipulation smart. I'll accept that. Yeah. Okay, Andrew, is the key to hurting Trump just being better at the theatrics? Will countries just have to make a bigger? Yeah. You know what, Trump Ramos? Yeah. Yeah. The way to beat Trump is to be more of a showman than Trump. And I don't know, man. I think taking the high road cost us the election in 2024. It also, taking the high road and not actually, like, you know, engaging in all this that's how the right gained so much traction. You know, you have all these idiot holier than thou people saying, oh no, I'm not going to get involved in things like this. Well, the right did, and the right won. Do I think all countries should spend the 2%? Because seriously, it's like those countries are just using their US as their piggy bank. Well, yeah, I think they should. They absolutely should spend 2% on this, on a mutual defense. Yeah. The electorate wants to watch us punch Nazis and look strong. I mean, well, I think that's great, though. I want to see us punching Nazis. You know what I mean? William Young, they think might makes right and don't care about nuance. Yes. Well, the only problem is, William Young, is we have had politicians who've been apparently doing everything right for the past 40 years and very little's gotten done. You know, I mean, it's like, unfortunately, one thing Trump was right, and I disagreed in 2018 with the trade wars. I was like, well, why are we doing this? It's messing up trade. But, I mean, China does deserve to face consequences for manipulating their currency against the dollar. And they deserve to face consequences for outlawing a lot of our platforms and for stealing a lot of our intellectual property. William Young, you're right. Politicians do need to show the strength. I did not watch Mark Reacher. I didn't. William Young says, Citizens United, they've been salesmen to the highest. Yep. Saf Wayne, you say, it is normal if you are the most powerful country, you're going to get used. If you are the most powerful country, you're going to get used. No, I think it's the other way around. China needs developing nation status ended. Unfortunately, they really are still developing. Their cities are developed, but the rest of them is not. Alex Klein, how you doing? Thoughts on Curtis Yarvin and the Butterfly Revolution? I forgot. I read about it and I completely forgot. So if you could enlighten me further, Alex, that'd be great. Okay, so Carl says, seriously, trust me, he does great content about... Oh, okay. All right, yeah, I'll look at it. And William Young says, in my humble opinion, it's a total farce, China being classified as developing and getting... Yeah, I mean, China's gaming the system. I mean, they have enough now. They have enough of an economy to really generate a lot of their own prosperity and build infrastructure. Not by your enemies, but by your allies. Okay. I think when it comes, Safwane, I think when you are the most powerful country, other countries use you. I mean, yeah, but it's always a give and take. Alcoholic weed smoker. Well, okay, China's infrastructure in the cities is amazing. Like along the coasts, where a large chunk of the population is, it's great. But once you go inward, once you go to inside the actual mainland, it's quite poorly developed. Okay, guys, I'm going to take off in a few minutes. I just wanted to, be on YouTube for a little bit. China is jealous about Taiwan because Taiwan is richer and they are a small country. Well, no, I don't know if China's jealous of Taiwan. I mean, because Taiwan is smaller, it's easier for them to fully, integrate the infrastructure and keep the wealth. China requires a lot more spending if they wanted to be as hardwired as Taiwan is. And I don't know if China is jealous of Taiwan. I think China just wants Taiwan back into the fold because, Taiwan is the last bit of resistance against the CCP that's actually Chinese, because the people who settled in Taiwan, those are just the people who escaped China when the communists took over. Andrew, what's the next thing on the agenda that could potentially make a meaningful impact on Trump negatively? If Russia progresses in Ukraine, if Russia starts making tremendous progress in Ukraine, it will. I think it'll impact the Trump administration negatively on the world stage and internally, because most of America does support Ukraine. Do I think Ukraine will lose territory? I don't know. I mean, Russia seems to be weakening. Their interest rates are 20%. Inflation is so high. Their economy is so weak. They're losing oil refineries left and right. I don't know. I don't, because Russia is a bigger military machine, but they're not only being held back, but they've also they've been invaded, and the Ukrainians are still successfully inside Russia. So I don't know. Budanov said that if Russia doesn't lose in 2025, they will win the war. All these predictions don't mean anything. They really don't. And Budanov, he's the spy guy, right? He's the director of intelligence. All he wants is just more funding and more assistance to take on Russia. How do we start preparing for the next elections, that being midterms or next presidential election? I mean, I'm not really hopeful in 2026. I think we're going to see another red wave in 2026. No matter what Trump does, I think we're going to see a red Congress still. I would be more concerned about 2028. The most important thing we can do now is to understand civics, know about the articles of our Constitution, know the amendments, know legal laws, but of course is to just reach, grow your sense of community, reach out to your community, grow a sense of community-ship, I guess, with your neighbors. And of course, pay more attention to local politics and get involved in local politics. And I just mean voting, know what's going on and then participate. All right, guys, I gotta go. This was fun. I will talk to all of you later, and I'm gonna try to go on again tonight. See you later.